Fishing trips anywhere, anytime. FishingBooker.com.
Hunting is not easy. It never has been. It takes dedication, motivation, a lot of patience, and quality gear. If you manage a food plot, put up stands, or need just one more game camera, we can help at MidwayUSA.com. We opened our doors in 1977 and continue to put customers first by offering super fast, same-day shipping. For just about everything for the outdoors, go to MidwayUSA.com.
The Jack Welch Management Institute at Strayer University helps you go from, I know the way, to I've arrived with our top 10 ranked online MBA. Gain skills you can learn today and apply tomorrow. Get ready to go from make it happen to made it happen. And keep striving. Visit strayer.edu/Jack Welch MBA to learn more. Strayer University is certified to operate in Virginia by Chev and has many campuses, including at 2121 15th Street North in Arlington, Virginia.
All right, guys, we are at episode 299, one more to 300. I didn't think that we never would have made it to where we are, but we made it here. So this is your boy East Coast Trev, and the Madman himself is with us again. How are we, Madman?
Well, a lot could still happen between now and next week, so we didn't make it yet.
We didn't make it. Yeah, you're right. We have one camping trip in between, so maybe it can stop at 300. The last one was pretty close to that, I think. So, well, we'll see what happens, but nope. So, what's up, Madman? We were blessed with the presence of Colin again from CCIS, and I absolutely love having him on. I think he's probably one of my favorite guests overall, to be honest with you.
Oh, it's the most fascinating, interesting topic. And more so, not having a vast knowledge of what he's talking about, it raises more and more questions, right? Like, it's not stuff you haven't heard before.
I think the craziest part is that we spend a lot of time in these said areas, and those said areas are ones that he has already been squatching in. And, like, it's kind of crazy because we stomp around those grounds, and you're like, whoa, you have stories from here? Whoa, you have... Remember the whole Glastonbury thing? And it was near one of the areas where we had been, like... It's always... Trail 2.
Trail 2? Yeah.
Like, yo, no.
Yeah. Yeah, and I also think, too, it's one of those things where, you know, you could listen to some things and be like... Well, I've never seen anything like that before. I've never had that happen. It's like, well, are you looking for it?
Well, that's
because
the other thing.
If you're in the woods and you're looking for turkey scratchings and turkey feathers or deer tracks and scrapes and rubs, you're going to find deer tracks, scrapes, and rubs, right? But if you're not looking, if you don't have your eye honed to be looking for the types of things he's looking for, you could easily blast right by it and not even notice it.
Well, it's almost like, for example, one of the things that somebody would be looking for in the woods, like those guys that are, I know I always go to this, and I'm sorry, guys, but we always talk about this, is snakes, right? If you're not looking for them and you're not going in those areas, you're not going to find them. You know what I'm saying? Or if you're looking for, okay, here's a very good example. Tons of people find arrowheads. Steve, how many arrowheads have you found?
Maybe one.
Exactly, because we don't look for them. But when you start to look for them, you will find them. That's just the way it goes. It's the same with deer antlers. How many people are like, oh, I've never found a deer antler? Yeah, because you never looked for a deer antler.
Right.
You know, or you stumble upon it. So it's the same thing.
Or that's the person that finds a bomber just laying there, not looking for it.
Wow, that happened to me. So.
See, it happened to me too a couple of years ago because I never found that match set and I looked for it.
Yeah.
And I know a hiker found it.
Or I did 35 miles looking for one set this year and come to find out that an 8th grader had it. So it is what it is.
It happens.
Yeah. So, but no, I love having Colin on. I think it's a blessing to have him on and somebody who's, very open-minded with, some of these biological beliefs and finding these things. And I think we should spend more time looking for them. I mean, to be honest, between the hide behinds and all the other good things that happen, and it's
Oh, but you want some hide behinds? You just come with me, dude. I guaranteed. Guaranteed.
You sure they're not like hide behind skunks? Like you think they're just like hide behind skunks trying to get you, or
I don't smell them.
No.
No.
Yeah,
Well, I haven't had a good skunk encounter in a while.
I know. Now it's snapping turtles.
Snapping turtles.
Yeah.
There was
Well,
possums for a while. I was on a possum kick for a while. I
well,
wrestled a couple times and
the
thought that was my thing. Then skunks kind of took over.
the problem is the possums. They just don't get out of your way. They're just there. They're just doing their thing.
I think it was when I had my big beard. I think the possum wanted to like crawl up in there and make a nest or something. Ever since I shaved my beard off, possum didn't leave me alone.
Yeah, that makes more sense. Yeah, funny story is that Colin was talking about crows and bringing back gifts. Have you ever seen some of those videos and how they train them and like guys will get like big money, gold coins, necklaces, like crazy stuff that these things bring back to them?
Have you ever seen the one where he starts to fight with the cats?
No.
Oh, dude, check it out. The crow starts like pissing off the cat and then goes over and pisses off the other cat and gets both the cats pissed off to the point where both the cats fight and the crow just watches them fight.
They're so smart. I guess maybe a pet crow is not a bad idea.
Yeah. You're like, what was that show? Beastmaster?
Yeah.
Remember? He had like all the animals, little otter, what were they? Ferrets.
Ferrets. That's another smart animal. They stink, but smart animal. Well, we get to spend the weekend looking for squatches and all the good things because we're going camping again as we have Colin on like we did last time. And now we get to enjoy the outdoors and
Squatch country.
Squatch country.
Back-to-back times, too. I can't believe that. Last time, he was like, dude, Trail 2? Yeah, how'd you know? That's the most squatchiest place in Connecticut. Now, we have him on again, and coincidentally, we're going to, like, the second most squatchiest place in Connecticut. You can't make that up.
No, that is not. That wasn't even planned. We didn't even.
No.
It was not even pre talked about.
Nope.
Yeah. Which is kind of crazy, but it is what it is.
It'll be good.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to the weekend alone and going with the boys.
Have
and
you you've been following this post, and I haven't really fact checked this at all yet, but you see this thing going around about how the state of Connecticut's going to start spraying all the creeks and rivers in Connecticut?
So crazy enough, I have kind of looked at it, but when I had read the proposal, it's coming from the Army Corps of Engineers, and they're doing the Connecticut River. So, and I haven't found any evidence yet of anywhere other than the Connecticut River, like Selden Neck, so it's the lower part of the Connecticut River.
Chester Creek, Hamburg Cove, Selden Creek, Salmon River.
So that's
Deep
Essex
River.
South.
Yeah.
Or maybe Haddam South.
I don't know much about it.
Yeah.
I did reach out to Mike Salter because he works for the state water department, and he said don't worry about it. He's like, it's not going to affect the fish. And I was like, well, what about the other vegetation and bugs and insects and things that fish eat? And he was like, I'm not sure about that. So I didn't tell you this, but I went on the email list of all these people that are behind it. I emailed every single one of them today and told them I had questions, comments, and concerns, and I extended the invitation to come on the podcast and answer them.
And what did they say?
I don't know. They didn't answer me back yet.
That's crazy. Yeah, I would love for him to do so because I think, to be honest with you, so it's supposed to get rid of what, the milfoil? I think it's a milfoil thing or one of the other.
Get rid of them.
Huh?
Oh, never mind. I thought you were talking about something else.
No, that's the weed that they're trying to kill because there's an overpopulation of it. But I mean, obviously, it affects something, and they've had problems in other places with doing the same exact thing. But as long as it's the Connecticut River, but then
hydrilla, rock snot, and water chestnut.
That's right. Yep.
He's not confirming. He's assuming that's what it's for.
Yeah. Yeah, hydrilla. I knew it was the hydrilla.
But what else would it kill? You know what I mean? I just have questions, right? Like I'm not jumping to conclusions, but I need to know these things.
So they've done it in the past in Coventry. Like I know that because they had a hydrilla bloom. They sprayed for it, and we don't have any problem. Well, there's a lack of bass and an increase in rock bass, but I don't know if that has anything to do with it. But it actually cleared the water.
Just curious, right?
Yeah, no, I totally agree with you. And while we're on,
you're gonna kill all the midges too, huh?
Well,
like what's gonna happen to the
I know.
the mayflies?
Yeah, no nymphing. I know. Don't. Yeah.
I don't know. I got questions. So I did email every one of them, and I said the same thing to every one of them. Like, hey, reading about this, water treatment for Connecticut. Got some questions and comments, and I co-host on a podcast based out of Connecticut, and would love to have you join us to answer some questions and talk about it.
Hopefully
So,
they take the ride with
basically,
us,
like,
but
it's like Rogan having Trump on, basically, but
yeah.
it's just the outdoor drive and some guy from the Army Corps.
The Army Corps of Engineers. Yeah, when we're on this conversation too, because obviously a lot of this stuff happens now. There was a big thing with the senator of Utah, or the old senator of Utah, and passing the bill of 1.3 million acre or 250 million acres or whatever it was that they wanted to sell. So it was 5 miles within suburbs in the western states. Huge win, huge W for us. It they retracted it, so that bill is no longer anymore, which is huge, right? I mean, for them not to do that, and
Did they crush the bill, or did they just take that part out of the bill?
They took that part out of the bill.
Yeah,
so
get that shit out of here.
Which is huge because, I mean, think about it like this, Steve. So in some of the writing in it, because I actually went through and read it, so it says within 5 miles of town. But if they say town is X, right? And they went a radius of 5 miles from town. Well, what's to say that they don't want another 5 miles from town in 10 years, right? So there's no stopping power there. And they never said that it was for like a certain type of housing, and it was all BLM land that they were trying to take over, which is grazing land for all of the cattle,
right?
Which is huge. So I'm glad that it got knocked down. I don't think that it'll ever pass because I think that this is probably the one thing that all of us agree on, right? Whether right, left, or center. I mean, you just agree that you don't get rid of public lands. We hope that never happens, but I'm glad that it got knocked down because that's huge. Because you give something like that an inch, they're going to take a mile, right?
Right.
And that's a scary
or 5
thing.
miles.
Yeah, a whole 5 miles. So, but there's a lot of cool stuff going on. Just have to pay attention to a lot of it because it's that time of the year where they start to vote in crazy things, and we try to stay on top of it. But there's a couple of groups here, the coalition in Connecticut. We're hoping to have some of the guys on there because I've talked with a couple of people, the Friends of the Sportsman Coalition and stuff like that, and having those guys on also to kind of pick their brains on some of the laws and stuff that are coming in. There's John Lapora, super big into it, and we can't wait to have some of those guys on and really talk about it. So, well, you think that we should go through the sponsors and get Colin on? We haven't done a sponsors list in quite some time. I know.
No, it's been a while.
I know. We've been so excited with everything that's going on, so might as well.
Is that why?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we just got a lot of stuff going on here, so might as well break through them. Bowtech refused to follow. If you guys aren't gone and shot a Bowtech yet, make sure to do so. It's getting to that time of year. Let's talk about it and be about it, and go and shoot your bow. So if you guys are in the market for a new one, make sure to just at least pick up and shoot the Bowtech. Latitude Outdoors, some good stuff coming from them. They saw that they had some different colors and some different stuff. They're doing a big giveaway, some really good stuff. If you haven't gone over to Latitude.
Big 4th of July sale too, I think.
Yeah, I did see that. So make sure to go and check out those guys. Latitude Outdoors. Use the promo code Outdoor Drive. Save yourself a little bit. Working Class Bowhunter, workingclassbowhunter.com. Our boys over at WCB. Did you see that they signed with Latitude? Now they'll be with Latitude?
No, I did not see that.
Yeah, so WCB officially is with Latitude Outdoors. So that's super cool for them. If you guys need some merch, make sure to go and check them out. They have some really good merch over there, doing some real good things over at WCB. So make sure to check them. Use the promo code Outdoor Drive over there. Also on their website, Huntworth. Get more for less with Huntworth. Some of your hunting gear, early season stuff. You guys, some real good casual, everyday wear too. Check those guys out, huntworthgear.com. And then for all of your filming needs, if you guys are thinking of getting into filming, make sure to check out Fourth Arrow camera arms. I'm still ranting and raving about that monopod. That monopod is absolute money. Probably one of the best products that they have going on. So make sure to check those boys out. And get something from them. And then Saddies LLC.
It's going to be like satellite camera arm season, though.
It is. It truly, honestly is.
Don't wait too long. If you want to self-film from the tree stand this fall, you might want to start thinking about getting a camera arm now.
Yeah, because it's going to get pretty crazy, and you want to practice with it.
Yeah.
Or at least get in the tree. You don't want to just walk in, open a day, and
yeah. Don't be like us.
Yeah, don't be like us. Go and check out my man Aaron Satterfield over at Sadie's LLC. You guys are duck hunters. Maybe he'll make you a rifle round. I heard he might be making something for Bittman for next bear season. So make sure to go check out my man over there, Sadie's LLC. Tell him that the Outdoor Drive sent you. We appreciate all of our sponsors, all the people that listen. If you guys are bored one time, give us a 5-star review on iTunes. Always have merch on our website or reach out to us. We still got T-shirts and hats and all that good stuff. Until next time, let's get Colin on. The Outdoor Drive Podcast. Guys, we're live again with Colin from CCIS. What a blessing to have him back on. Thank you, Colin, for jumping on with us. I know it's crazy for you, but we love having you on here on the Outdoor Drive.
Thank you. It's an honor to be here again, to return, and we had a great time. And as always, it's really nice to hear from you guys.
Yeah. So what's been new with you, Colin? Anything new and exciting going on in the world of the Cryptids?
Yeah. So we've been out the last several days, going around in our area, sort of in between work, stopping and checking places out, and even visiting some of our old stomping grounds, places you would never, like, I would never think I'm going to find activity. There's a place in White Memorial that I go to just to chill, right? It's just a short drive down my house. To me, it's spectacular, but maybe to the average person, it's not like Niagara Falls or nothing. It's just tannic water and chill. During the several days here, we've come across some pretty interesting tracks.
Really? Anything new, and like, is it new findings or something that you've seen before?
This is all within the last week. This is hot off the press.
So kind of get right into it. Explain what you're finding. What are these tracks of?
All right. Well, as always, they're tracks. Unfortunately, now I wasn't prepared for a full field investigation. I was just out hiking. We do several things. I don't know if you know this, but we do something called on location, where we just go and check a place out. We're so new to this place, we're not looking for anything at all because we would be distracted, right? We'd stop, and so we want to go to a destination, a lookout point, or a tower, or some kind of foundation. I found mines the other day that were really cool. So that's on location, and then there's investigations, and then there's just when after work we'll just go and sit. A camera person and I will go and sit by a river or something. So during the course of that, we had one field investigation, one on location, and one just chilling out.
Isn't it? It's kind of fun. I can relate to that too, Colin, because I can't only speak for myself, but it seems like I always get into some stuff, but I don't plan on getting into some stuff. So like, I'm just going to go run out and check a trail camera real quick, and I'll leave my backpack at the truck, and then I'll get back there and I'll be like, I wish I had all my stuff with me. Like I wasn't planning on getting into some stuff. You know what I mean?
I do. In fact, a lot of times when and this is really weird, when we're just on location and just checking a place out, could be anywhere, a robin swamp or anywhere. And we're not even doing any call taps or howls, and we'll hear this very many miles away, distant, loud apex howl. I'm still trying to figure that out because we haven't done anything. We're at a place maybe we've never been to before, and there's howls. It's crazy.
That is nuts. And and
It's
and when now I guess when you're going there to chill, are you in the same spot that you would be looking for those howls, like trying to get responses, or no? Totally different
no,
spots.
no. There's this little place I go to. It's got a couple. If you check out our last couple videos, you'll see it's in the White Memorial. This place, and it's just how crazy is this? It's just called the Nature Trail. It's really for kids, but the tannic water reminds me of my hometown in Maine that has only tannic water, and it's just a nice quiet place. There's a lot of birds. So I wasn't, we were in there just relaxing, just enjoying nature. I know that when you watch our videos, we're sort of gung ho. It's about getting out there, but sometimes we're just there, just not looking for anything.
Mm.
And a lot of times, especially for somewhere new, we're getting howls in the distance. It's crazy.
So there's been a couple of new spots that have been opened up, and you've started to investigate it. How do you crack these spots open, and really start to investigate what's going on there?
What I like to do when I approach a spot like this, we just did Prospect Mountain Preserve in Litchfield off of Cat Hole Road. It has three different entrances, and this is where he found the mines. When I approach a place like that, if we're fortunate to have a kiosk with the legend and the map and everything, you've seen our videos,
Mm-hmm.
you guys. I make a big deal about that because that sort of already gives me a frame of reference of, am I going to see wetlands? Am I going uphill? What's the distance? Is there water? That's always important. Is there water? Water is the key, and stuff like that. Is there a landmark I can go to? Like in Prospect Mountain, there are some pretty impressive mines there. And I'm a rock hound, so I'm kind of used to mining. These were incredible. These were really cool.
Do a lot of cryptides hang around in the rocks?
Oh, there is a strong relation to, especially in Appalachian, Kentucky, and West Virginia, of Bigfoots and dogmen associating with caves, of course, because they're going to maintain a constant temperature. If you get deep enough, constantly
Mm.
55 degrees if you're covered in hair. But there is, even going back into the Ice Age, animals, cave bears and stuff, all large animals are going to gravitate towards caves. And mines are artificial caves, and they sort of have the same characteristics. And so I'm going to say yes. You get near caves and mines and stuff, you're going to increase your chances of an encounter.
So that you think that Bigfoot and dogmen, they are trying to find these areas to survive. Those are homes for them then in those areas.
Absolutely. A Prospect Mountain Preserve I had never been to, and a customer that I work for, um, the boyfriend told me about this place. He likes cross country skiing. And so I was like, yeah, okay, it's going to be okay. Well, I was blown away by the place. It's got three different entrances. I wasn't prepared for it to be so large. It's only about 5 miles from my house. Very convenient. And so the fact that there's a series of mines, and they're mining iron, copper, silver, some crazy metals back in the day in the late 1800s, till the mine was no longer profitable and they just abandoned it.
Mm.
Then groundwater filled it up, so you got these deep artificial ponds. It's just really cool, and it's really unusual for Connecticut. Our mines tend to not look like that, almost just like pulled away hills. But
Hmm.
this was a mine with an arch and everything. Was really cool.
So, and you, I saw that you had gone to another new place. What was there any findings that were equal to or better than um, the one in Litchfield?
So I think all three places, except for the one in Morris, and we'll send you the link. I keep forgetting the name, but we were there as this place just opened to the public. We were actually some of the very first people. Humphrey
Humphrey.
Farm Preserve
Yep.
in Morris. Okay, and some guy pulled in from, he was obviously a local. I think he might have even been from the town. He had a green truck. He had that look about him, and he said, "Oh, did they mark the trails? And I explained to him, no, we haven't been in yet, right? This is great. So he's sort of going on, and I'm explaining, no, we haven't been there yet. We're first here, and we're gonna go squatch this place, right? And I'm just thinking to myself, I'm a knucklehead. This is normal conversation because that's how I talk to people that know me. And this guy just got a really odd look, and he just started to pull like back away. And all he wanted to know about was trail markers. And I said, no. Basically, I'm like, no, we're about to squatch the hell out of this place. Oh my
He's
God.
like, you're gonna do what? Where?
Oh yeah, and that's gonna be a thing I do from now on. I meet people at trailheads or something. I'm gonna be like, no, I'm gonna squatch this place.
Yeah, we're going to squatch this place. Watch out.
Put a sign at the gate, caution, squatching in progress.
I don't care at this point anymore.
What do you get a lot of weird reactions? Like, is that a normal thing when you tell somebody that you're out there squatching, like that you're trying to investigate on X, Y, and Z? Like, what is like the weirdest encounter that you've had?
No, that guy was unusual. Most of the time, if I take the time to sort of explain it, people are fascinated. Most people, I would say a good 80% of the people have stories, and they want to talk, and they want to tell me about it. Tell me their father saw this and that. You talk about dogmen, and like my grandfather used to talk about something like that, but it didn't have a name.
Right. And it's funny that you say that because both me and Steve had a ton of listeners that had tuned into the podcast over, a couple weeks time after we had released it on the regular platform and reached out with us with stories. We had friends in Virginia that were hunting, and they had, loud noises near livestock. And I know Steve had a bunch of people that had said stuff, and we had other squatchers reach out to us. So like, this is, it's not a big talked about thing, but that's why we like to talk about it, because we need to get this information out and people need to hear what's going on.
I agree. And when we're out there, it's nothing but positive reception. I might have caught this gentleman off guard. He asked me a question, and I sort of asked him a question, and he just wanted to know this brand new place, which, by the way, it's too short. It wasn't very squatchy, but there was a cool abandoned truck in there from back in the day, and it was all right. But the fact that we got there first, we did find, this is really weird. In the middle of this preserve, acres and acres in at this point, we find a Nike golf ball, number 2, in a forest.
Found a lot of golf balls in weird places too, Colin.
What the hell? What the hell?
And I'm a golfer. I know how far I can hit a golf ball.
Right.
And they are way too far in the woods to be. I don't know. I'm gonna start documenting it, because I do find enough golf balls to like take notice to wonder why there's a golf ball here.
Guys, if you could save them for us,
I will.
And you guys, when my next convention, you guys want to jump on with us?
You have convention?
Oh hell yeah! Do maybe something live there or something?
Yeah.
Well, though, Colin, you got me thinking now. So I think I'm going to steal that trick from you, though, because a lot of times when I'm on public land, scouting deer, scouting turkey, shed hunting, I don't really want people to know what I'm doing. Like, I don't want people to like, oh, he's looking for deer, or he's hunting, because then they get nosy and they start looking around. And so I'm just going to start telling everybody I am squatching back here. I'm squatching the hell out of the swamp.
Yeah,
so
I'm squatching.
Absolutely.
Stay out.
Yeah, both of you guys, I encourage you to do that, because there's no closed season. There's no license required. It's supposedly, at least in the Northwest, parts of America, it's a protected animal, which that tells you a lot, right? I think it's just great. The reaction you're going to get is great.
I have a question. So last time you were on, it just happened to be a coincidence where something came up about patch hog, and you were like, dude, trail 2?
Trail 2.
It just so happened that the day after we recorded, we were camping on trail 2. This weekend we're heading up to the Farmington River. Do you have any stories about that area?
Hampstead
that we should
area?
know about?
Oh, we do.
Oh, boy.
We have not far from 2. So the People's State Forest, we had our own sort of distant call responses. But a gentleman from the military sent us photographs in the winter of some tracks. So that's our own
In Peoples?
People's State Forest. Yeah, he wasn't.
Wow.
Yeah, he was in that general parking area, that has the facilities and the pavilion, and so he went uphill from there, and we've been there, and he sent us some footprints. But we have a much more interesting encounter, not far from the Farmington River, in Simsbury, Nodbrook Wildlife Management Area, I believe. Are you guys
Yes,
familiar
sir.
with this
Yes,
place?
very familiar. Yep. I've walked it. I've turkey hunted it. Yep.
So it has the dog kennel thing there, right?
Yep.
So in that area, this gentleman sent us a report, and it's very similar to one that we have in the Harrington Wildlife Management Area over by the DEP headquarters. What is Rorabeck Wildlife Management Area? These two are almost the same. These guys are fishing in the pond. It's getting late. Most people have left, and so I'll stick with Nodbrook. Okay, the guy's hearing these howls and stuff. He's got his dog, which is a German Shepherd, I believe, a large dog, with him. And this dog is, as he describes it, it's not usually scared of anything, and it starts whimpering. And apparently, there's some sort of bridge there or something. I have never been to this place.
Yeah, there is, to get down towards the river. Yeah, where they train the dogs.
Okay, so he's away from the bridge, and he sees something in the bridge, and he's like, "Okay, that's a big person." That's how I reacted. Your first reaction tends to be that's a very large person. But then he realized that this thing was sort of standing up into the high areas of this bridge. Now, I don't have this exact report on hand.
Midway USA brand product designers have one straightforward goal: develop high-quality, technically sound products and deliver them to customers at reasonable prices. If you are immersed in the shooting sports industry and pay close attention to every single detail, you know our products are built right and stand up to everyday use. Who has shooting mats and range bag systems to hunting clothing and just about everything for the outdoors? Log on and shop 24/7 with super fast shipping. MidwayUSA.com.
USAA knows dynamic duos can save the day, like superheroes and sidekicks, or auto and home insurance. With USAA, you can bundle your auto and home and save up to 10%. Visit USAA.com/bundle.
Bundle savings are off total premium, not available in all states or in all situations. To qualify, auto policy must be active prior to property policy issue, subject to change. Restrictions apply. Membership eligibility and product restrictions apply and are subject to change. USAA means United Services Automobile Association and its affiliates, San Antonio, Texas.
But he stayed and fished for a little while. I give him credit for that. If he had tackled Bigfoot, he'd get that $5 reward we have going, right? Bring him in live. You have to tackle him, no weapons. But he had a really long encounter. This thing was howling and tapping and stuff until finally the dog was so freaked out. As he reported that he wanted to stay fishing, but it was getting dark, and the dog was so scared that he had to leave that area. So if you're over there, that's our Farmington River evidence. I go there a lot. What brings you guys over there? I'm just curious. I'm not far from the river.
We're going fishing on the Farmington River this weekend. Do a little camping, a little fishing, a couple of us. And it's funny is every time that you like Steve had said, every time we have you on, we're going camping into the big woods. Last time, literally, we stayed on trail number 2 and we did some squatching and some calling. We drove around and we did get a response. So it was fun. It was an absolute blast.
You guys can consider yourselves official CCIS investigators.
Really?
Nice.
Hell yeah. Definitely.
Certified.
Hell yeah.
Well, Colin
Hell,
certified
anywhere you
us
go.
right here on the Outdoor Drive. We are now
You guys have your license, unlike my friend Richard Sear, okay? And as you've watched our videos, his license is being held up in Pyongyang, North Korea, and it doesn't look good.
Oh, boy.
And we joke about it, but
So
you guys definitely consider yourselves part of the team.
He's an illegal squatcher until he gets his license?
He is. He
Oh.
is. He has to go with me. He's on
Probation?
squat probation. Yeah, that's
Colin, so last time you were on, I don't remember talking about this particular creature, but the Glaucus. I saw recently. Say it again?
The Glowacus.
Okay. So I saw a while back you were pushing to make it the official Cryptid of Connecticut. You want to
Yes.
talk about that a little bit?
Well, I do believe it should be. I was actually, we got a couple people that we talked to about this because I believe, I forget which state, Washington, Oregon, or one of those states, and I think it's, I think it's Washington. They want to make Bigfoot the official cryptid of the
Oh,
state. That
I
would
thought
make
California.
them. Was it California? Okay,
It was definitely
California.
California, Oregon, Washington, but I thought it was California.
We're gonna go with California. So, they want to make Bigfoot the official cryptid. If they do that, they're going to be the first state in America to have an official cryptid.
Oh.
Um, so we here at CCIS thought about this. We're like, well, why does the government, I guess with all their power and money that they can, do that, make that the official? And we just over here in CCIS like, well, let's beat them to the gun because, anything in any government bureaucracy is going to take 2 to 5 years. And we're like, well, let's just get together over a pizza, which is, by the way, Connecticut's the state the capital of America's pizza. So we got together over good, real pizza, a Connecticut pizza. We discussed this. I was going for the Black Dog of Meriden, but I was shot down because that exhibits supernatural things. It barks and you can't hear it, it leaves footprints, and it has all this first time for joy, second time for sorrow, third time, first time for joy, second time for sorrow, third time for death, whole thing. And that was shot down. Too supernatural, not a real cryptid. So the Gloacus, we wanted to make something very specific to Connecticut. The Winstead Wildman had come up and some others. But the Gloacus was the singular one that is a biological cryptid that has historical reports and was centered around Glastonbury. It was like this very large fisher cat. I would describe it between a fisher cat and sort of a mountain lion, okay? They didn't have the benefit of all the electronics we have, so they couldn't document this thing properly. And of course, you got to go back in the day. Connecticut would have been a lot more deforested than it is today. There would have been more agriculture. So this Gloacus was exhibiting all the kind of stuff Chupacabra does, raiding livestock, killing things, making crazy noises, scaring people, chasing people. There was big hunts for this thing. This was a big deal in Glastonbury. Like the whole town, this was, the history is crazy that they organized these searches for this thing. Could have been a fisher cat. But to answer your question, we decided on that, the Gloacus. And the name stands for Glastonbury, wacky, and then the Latinized us, like any other, Julius. So Gloacus is the Glastonbury monster. And so that CCIS, we just did it. We're like, hey, the official cryptid of Connecticut, it's too late. The state's going to have to roll with it anyway at this point, right? What else have they got? Right. Seville, which is the sort of those manatee things I was talking about in Seville Dam. Those are interesting.
What about the Puck Wedgie? Were they in the
Yeah, my
conversation
favorite.
for official? Those are my favorite.
My favorite too.
They were, but we realized that that's sort of Massachusetts turf. They're going to claim that with their whole Bridgewater Triangle, and we don't have nearly the history enough evidence to back that up. I would have preferred something like that. The Gloacus was kind of there, wasn't there. It was there for a little while, and then it disappeared. No one's ever sort of reported it again.
Although, I will say this. There's a huge debate amongst Connecticut with mountain lion sightings. And some people swear they've seen them. Some people say they're here. Some people swear we don't have them, right? It's an ongoing debate. What if it's the Gloacus the whole time? And that's really what people are seeing.
And so I agree with you there. There's so many. Could have been a mountain lion, could have been a fisher cat. There's so many could haves. And these animals back then would have been so driven out by, the habitat deprivation. There was just no place for them. If something did stray, it's going to go for livestock. If it was a mountain lion and they weren't used to that, and let's say there was a gap of 50 years, maybe some of the old timers would have known. Or even fisher cats or any of those. It probably was, like you're saying, a known animal, misidentification. You always gotta go back to that.
And is there what are some of the stories about the Galactus that they've seen or
So it would raid livestock in Glastonbury, and it would sort of haunt towns. This thing would be nocturnal mostly. It people were then scared to go into what forest there was. There was a actual people were scared of this thing. Families wouldn't want their children to be out past dark, and so the town set up, and neighboring towns, Hebron and other towns, got together on this and did like a search of the local forest and farmlands looking for this thing, and they never found it.
so how far has it stretched from the Glastonbury area? Like I know that there's some stories of some livestock getting attacked probably 10 years ago in the Columbia area where they actually had on the back of a horse there was like claw marks on the back of a horse. Would it be of that size to be able to jump on the back of a horse?
It certainly would be able to jump. From all the reports I read, give me a second, guys. It would be able to jump, and it did exhibit that. It was described as dark brown, but then again, a mountain lion or anything is going to appear dark brown as it gets darker.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and there are those types of reports. So the overlap here. So were there others after the Connecticut? And this is interesting. Sort of all the reports in Connecticut sort of died out. They were starting to appear in upstate New York. Very similar stories. And I believe they also called it the Glowwalkers. So this thing might have been on the move.
Migrating.
Yeah, it could have been heading up north to get into some forest. It sounds to me like something that's going to want, like any of the weasel families, right? Or even the big cats. They're going to want trees. They're not going to want to be exposed, as you guys know very well.
Right. But doesn't that cross over with like the dogmen and stuff, like attacking a lot of livestock and whatnot? Is it in the same family?
It does overlap with the dogman because of agriculture, but the reports were much smaller and always quadrupedal. This thing was always on all fours, so it was didn't seem to exhibit any bipedal characteristics.
Okay. Yeah.
Which that separates it then from dogman, because the whole issue with dogman is that it does exhibit bipedal characteristics and is much larger.
So us all as hunters and fishermen and outdoorsmen, like, is there any of the cryptids that we should be on the look for? Because we do travel into the woods a lot when it's dark. Like, is there anything that we should be precautioned? And we're always off trail too, so there's a lot that goes into that.
Yeah, off trail is real interesting. I would. Do you guys look out for? We talked. Do you look out for structures now? Are you looking for teepees, and are you finding the snap, like the limbs of maple trees snapped above your head, like twisted and snapped?
Mm-hmm.
And are you following those, like to look for another one where the point is? And remember, that could be like a clock, right? So that tree on his 45, the broken part can be pointing in any direction. And if you follow those straight, you're more than likely to encounter another one. And you can get into some interesting stuff. Off trail, deep forest where you guys go, I would say you're going to encounter dogmen around your farms, wildlife management areas that have, sort of that agricultural edge, maybe cornfields, like Beck has cornfields. As you get into deeper forest, you're into squatch and puckwedgie territory.
We just got so bad.
You gotta listen. You gotta start leaving them gifts.
I did. Last season, I was leaving them gifts everywhere I went.
Me too, and
little chocolates.
That's the stuff.
Yeah. I thought the Dogman was more like northwest or northeast corners. Is it more spread out?
Wow. If you go on to, there's a guy on YouTube called Dark Waters. Okay. He has the most interesting migratory map. So if you just looked at Dark Waters, Dogman migration, that's fascinating. I was just enthralled by that. Dogman is sort of I mean, it's this new star. Everybody wants to know. We've been hit over the head with Bigfoot since the 50s, right?
Right. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, we get it. Footprints. And, he's sort of he's big and sort of docile, wants to be left alone. Dogman is much more interesting. Let's say you want to make a movie. You're going to want to make a Dogman movie. I mean, this thing likes scaring you, right? So the popularity is really, really rising with Dogman. It's sort of the new superstar. But you're asking, is there overlap? So from the Great Lakes, Bray Road, um, all that, there is a little bit. But when I watched the Dark Waters Migratory Path, and you guys are going to really like this, I suggest you get that. You should even try for him, man. That guy's a superstar. You should try for him.
What's his
Tell him
name?
I said. Dark Waters. All right. He's got the whole Dogman migration map thing, and this guy's smoking cigarettes and he's swearing like a sailor. So just
Perfect.
understand, we don't do that because we have a lot of kids that follow us. Um, but he nails it, dude. So it's really interesting. So there's seasons. I mean, I don't know where this. Oh, he does describe how he got this information. He takes out small ads. He pays for these. He listens to all these encounters. He's got a BS file and an interesting file. So he got into this whole migration of Dogman and how they do come up here, and then they'll spend a lot of the summertime up here because it's moderate temperatures. But when they leave, this is crazy. And I had never heard this. And there's parts of the country that are barren, like northern Texas and all that area. Sort of very few reports. But so you could just see where the green patches, all through the Appalachians, are hot spots up in New England, the Great Lakes, where all the greenery is. Um, they're hurting, according to him, and I agree. I agree 100%. To me, he had the most conclusive thing I ever saw. That they're hurting deer and then forcing them to go down south in their later winter migrations so they have a food source. They bring these deer through the desert or through, let's call it the biological desert areas where there's not a lot of deer, and they herd them through there. And if you're hunting that, you're messing with them. They're going to show you some real aggressive stuff. So, yes, I agree with him that there are times of the year when you're going to have a very likely chance right now, um, according to him and his maps. And I agree. Again, I agree. They're up here right now. This is a good time.
This is the dog man swing right now. This is where they are.
Oh, they go up into Vermont and stuff too. Like probably as you get into August, I really think you should check this out. And I'll try to send you I will send you the link. They're going to go as it gets extreme hot, way up into the mountain areas up there. Get themselves some nice bucks and stuff, and start herding them down.
So
And
What gifts can you do? Do they like pennies too? What do you leave them?
oh man, you're gifting Dogman.
ooh.
I have never heard of such a thing. I guess I would leave them salmon and chickens and stuff. I wouldn't leave them any. They're not going to be interested in any chocolates or gifts like that. No copper, nothing.
Cause I mean, Squatch, he even likes pumpkins.
Of course, yeah. So all there are 89 hominids, right, that we know of. 89 taxonomic hominids. So we're one of them. All of us are omnivores. Every single one of us, from gorillas to spider monkeys. We all will be carnivores. We will all be vegetarians. Whatever's available, we're gonna go for it.
It's and so the dog man, there's nothing that you can level with him on and gift to him. He is just the apex predator of all.
I mean, if you go into Dogman Encounters Radio with Vic Cundiff and check out Dark Waters, those guys got a much better grasp of Dogman than I do. But now that's a really good question. Gifting Dogman, they do. I mean, they open doorknobs and stuff. They will purposely scare kids and not hurt them. They'll open car doors, live in barns. I see no reason why you couldn't if it's displaying intelligence,
Right.
albeit canine intelligence, but like our own, okay, but still canine, still different, there's no reason you couldn't develop a relationship with some. And I've heard some of the stories from Vicundus, Bigfoot, Dogman Encounters Radio. Make sure you get the real one. You're gonna, I mean, he's got hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of all eyewitness encounters, and some of them are a little more peaceful than most. It's against, and some of them are very violent. I mean, extremely violent. Like, and
To what degree?
it's crazy. To the degree that these people are shooting at him, like, and there was a incident in Kentucky. This guy called in, and his family had this farm, and this guy inherited this farm, and him and his uncle down were trying to fix it up, and his uncle's telling him, like, when these things come, and that's always people that have these encounters that aren't into this stuff the way we are. They don't have a name for this. They haven't done the research. They don't know about popular culture. Of course, you know about Bigfoot. We've been hitting that, for 60 years, 70 years now. Dogman sort of new. And so, but the uncle will say, when these things come, shoot their feet and knees. That's crazy.
Why take them out at the kneecap?
Because the shots are ineffective in the torso for whatever reason. Unless you're using military grade hollow points. One of the most recent reports on YouTube right now, a hot one, is this guy. This truck driver had this thing on him, and he had some heavy weaponry and was able to shoot this thing and drag it into the woods. And then, some creepy people showed up without ID, asking him questions, talking about their asset. Killed our asset.
Like that werewolf with the silver bullet.
You know what? Yes. Holy crap. I never thought about that. So yeah, your modern comparison would be, and this guy's a truck driver, so he's got this thing's looking in the window, just like the hospital guys in Pomfret, and he's got this pistol right up to this thing's freaking eyeball, and that's how close range it is. Shot his window out to get rid of this thing.
What happened in Putnam?
So he told the last.
Pomfret.
Pomfret. Wasn't it chasing a school bus or something like that?
The ambulance drivers that showed up, multiple town incident. Yeah. And these guys were chased by a bunch of teenage dog men.
Are they pretty much the most violent of them all?
Man. Yeah, I'm going to go with That's the one, especially the big guys, right? The big, terrifying, and the reports are up to 12 feet tall. Those guys, those apex males, because I don't think females are going to exhibit that kind of. They're going to be more, like coyotes. They're canine. They're pack animal. These big guys, they're very aggressive. I mean, some of them are outright dangerous.
So what? They're bipedal. So what is it? Like dog upper body, human lower body, legs, or is it just all standing up?
So what I learned from, and I'm no expert. I have to learn from people just like you guys do, like Vic Cundiff's Dogman Encounters Radio. According to him, so far, he has documented 6 different types. Some are seem to be dedicated quadruped. They're going to be on all fours most of the time. And then again, there are others, these big warrior types, that are just humongous, 12 feet tall, ripped, that are just mostly bipedal. So it's interesting because you take Bigfoot, there's just Bigfoot. The variations might be in size and color of the hair. As you get older, you're going to get hair like this. You might get a report of a white, we're hominids, so our hair is going to go gray. You might get redheads and blondes, but they're going to be anatomically the same. But dogmen appear to have 6 iterations of themselves or more. I'm going to say more because the reports are just the reports, but usually in nature there's more.
I wonder if they're like milk bones.
Like what's that?
Well, like a dog treat, like a milk bone.
It's funny you say that because when we did the Black Dog of Meriden investigation, and I had seen him once, we thought we'd leave him dog biscuits, and
Did it
I
work?
talked about this on your last show, so I won't get into that right now.
The only thing I would worry about with Dogman is like leave him a little milk bone and like insulting him and just make him more mad.
Yeah, I wouldn't do that.
I don't want you.
You're dealing with something that's usually described as pre-pissed off.
Yeah.
I usually just leave them. I leave them gut piles from deer.
Yeah.
That usually makes them happy.
They do. Do you hear coyotes afterwards on the way out?
Oh, yeah.
So if
It's
you listen to
always gone the next day.
if you listen to coyote howls, really pay attention. Not just the coyotes are going. If you listen to the very first howl, that's your big boy. And there are reports of dogmen. They get the prime cuts. They get the first shot at this stuff, and then the coyotes will get them, almost like pets. And interesting because Bigfoot has the same reports of coyotes as pets. And I wouldn't say pets. I would say symbiotic.
Right. Is that a normal thing though for them to have them, or symbiotic to have them, kind of working with them?
Yes, that's very common. It's reported quite a bit. We don't get a whole lot of dogman reports. Most of what I get are Bigfoot reports, and then just weird stuff, really weird stuff. So majorities Bigfoot. The reports of dogmen that I do get that one came from Mr. Haunted. So a shout out to him, Jimmy Pettitino. You guys should get him. He's worked with the Warrens. He's really cool, real character. He's got books out. He gave us the Dogman report. But the Dogman reports I get are when I'm wearing. I have a couple different. I have my CCIS T-shirt. People will talk to me then. But I have one of a Dogman, and time and time again, people will say, "I saw that. I saw that," and they don't describe it as a werewolf. Doesn't come off when you see this thing biologically. This whole nonsense of werewolves that gets dropped immediately. Okay, so shape shifting. We went into that. Flounder do it. All kinds of animals do it. Moths do it. Shape shifting in nature is no big deal. But interspecies from a hominid to a canine, I'm sorry, I'm not buying it. That's the mythology, because that was the easiest way to explain bipedalism in any animal. It could be the large cat species in some of the Native Americans or South American traditions where you turn into a jaguar. Okay, that's just a way to explain how these things can be bipedal. Back in the day, that would have been the easiest way to say, well, that's just a shaman or somebody, a rougarou, shape-shifting. But in nature, it doesn't work that way.
I have a side thought to go back to. We got to get this Dogman on here. What's to say that Dogman and the coyotes are not working together? But like, what if I'm thinking like hyenas with like a lion. Like maybe the coyotes are just following them around and like picking up the scraps or whatever he leaves behind for like an easy meal.
That was kind of my thoughts too when I had said that, like working together, like for sure.
Yes, until you get into the reports where the coyotes will follow the dogman afterwards. They'll be seen with their own kills. They'll be seen chasing this thing down, the deer. Dogman doing the primary kill, taking what it wants, and then letting the coyotes eat.
Oh, okay, that's
staying there with it. And then when everything's done, they move away as an entire pack.
So a lion hyena type thing. The lion does the dirty deed, gets what he wants, and then the hyenas come in behind them, and then you have the vultures, and it's same in that pecking line. But now it's dogmen, coyotes, crows, right?
Except that the coyotes are staying with the dogmen.
Oh.
They're again, there's a symbiote. When the dogmen, they'll do the kill, they'll get what they want, and they stay there with the pack while the coyotes will eat, or the wolves in some cases. And then when this is over, and these are not my encounters. You can get all this stuff online. Sounded pretty credible. And then they move away. The pack will move away as a single unit.
But is there others that follow around in that pecking order that like with them to eat?
Want to plan your next fishing trip without the hassle? FishingBooker.com is the best way to find and book a fishing charter anywhere in the world. Whether you're chasing trophy fish or just looking for a family day on the water, Fishing Booker makes it simple, fast, and secure. With thousands of experienced guides, verified reviews, and 24/7 customer support, Fishing Booker takes the guesswork out of planning. Visit FishingBooker.com and book your trip today. Fishing Booker. Fishing trips made easy. Want to plan your next fishing trip without the hassle? FishingBooker.com is the best way to find and book a fishing charter anywhere in the world. Whether you're chasing trophy fish or just looking for a family day on the water, Fishing Booker makes it simple, fast, and secure. With thousands of experienced guides, verified reviews, and 24/7 customer support, Fishing Booker takes the guesswork out of planning. Visit FishingBooker.com and book your trip today. Fishing Booker. Fishing trips made easy.
Hi, I'm Matt, founder of Afuera Coffee. Coffee for the outdoors. Afuera means outside in Spanish, and we believe your coffee should be as exceptional as your outdoor experiences. We source specialty coffee, grown sustainably, sourced with care, and roasted on demand. No hype, no gourmet or premium labels, just the best coffee you've ever had delivered to your door. We roast, bag, and ship right here in the U.S., and everything we do has Mother Nature at the forefront of our decision making, from compostable bags to recycled mailers and labels. Plus, we donate 5% of all sales, not just profits, to charities that protect and preserve the outdoors we love. Ready to upgrade your coffee and make a difference? Check us out at afueracoffee.com. That's AFUERA coffee.com. You'll find our full lineup of roasts, stories behind the beans, and more about the causes we support. Enjoy your next outdoor adventure with purpose and an incredible coffee in hand.
Well, if we're talking animals, like you said, all of the scavengers are going to go from there. But as far as sticking with the cryptids, that's pretty much the limit, canine with canine, except for the cases of Bigfoot. Doing the same sort of thing, working with them. And for whatever reason, I really don't know the benefit to a Bigfoot for that. I can understand a dogman, a canine, the benefits. But really, Bigfoot, those are the reports. I just don't, I'm having a hard time wrapping my mind around this one.
Yeah, it's just kind of crazy though, like I didn't know if there was other that were aggressive like that cryptids that, because it seems as all the other ones are pretty friendly. Your puck wedgies, your hide behinds, some of those are very, passive, not aggressive. A lot of cases where they're more friendly than ever, than the others.
The puck wedgies, unfortunately, up here in our area, they exhibit a lot of really dangerous behavior. That you're getting into some supernatural stuff, so I sort of veer off from that. I have no problem. And again, now I need to say this because people get mad at me when I say this. Really, a lot of responses, people are like, no, and I have to say it, and I'm saying it crystal clear here to you and your audience. It's just what I believe. It's just my frame of mind. I'm not ruling supernatural behavior out, portals, any of that, okay? Disappearing. I'm not ruling any of that out.
Right.
As far as CCIS goes, we're staying in biology. So puck wedgies, I have no problem with them being small hominids, highly intelligent, maybe an uncalcified pineal gland. We got into that. So they might have some telepathic abilities. But, they around here in the history, it started with the Native Americans. And then, of course, we come in tearing forests down and stuff like that, just made it even worse. Mm-hmm. So our relationship with them and the natives in the New England area is not good. and they have done some really bad stuff. Some of the reports are pushing people off of this, you know, the cliffs in Freetown State Forest up there in the whole Bridgewater Triangle thing. As you get to the Great Lakes, there's a much better relationship. But I will say this, our personal CSIS relationship with these guys, we constantly, like you guys, are leaving them gifts, hoping I don't really know how to communicate with these guys. They seem to want, if they want to communicate, they're going to approach you.
Mm-hmm.
But it doesn't stop us. I was in, so we were in that Prospect Mountain Preserve, and there are a series of glacial erratics that make, and this is where the mines are as well, right? The rocks there, the glacial erratic granites are just crazy impressive, and they make these sort of artificial caves. Caves go into the earth. These are made by rocks, a little bit different, but they exhibit the same behavior. And the larger ones, nothing. I mean, some acorns, but the ones that I had a hard time crawling into, and if you go check out the video, that one had this incredible smell of urine. Like, it was powerful. Like, wow. Now, of course, that could have been a raccoon or, any number of small animals, anything. But I was just like, wow. And so that's the first time I encountered a really powerful odor. And then as I got into the bigger ones where I could stand up, no, none of that. So I'm going to say, puck wedgies are not super friendly. If you don't want to mess with them, you want to stay. If you're going to try to develop a relationship with them, I think it can be positive. I think it's just like us. They're going to take it on an individual basis.
Mm-hmm.
So keep leaving your gifts, your chocolate, your copper, stuff like that are useful to them.
That's the one I want a relationship with, is the puck wedgies. I would like to have a couple of those hanging out with me for sure.
What you want to do is, if you get some kind of like EMF recorder or something, when you leave the gifts at like do the EMPs, the electronic EVPs, the electronic voice phenomena stuff.
Yeah.
We brought our friend Nick Roseman out with us, and he got some. One of the responses was, "I am chief," in a cave. According to him, there shouldn't have even been any electromagnetic frequencies in that cave. They should not have registered any sounds.
So he left gifts for the puck wedgies in the cave with the recorder, and then came back after with the recorder, and they got a message that says, "I am chief."
No, so he went with CCIS. So this is on video. If you go way back, look, you got to go way back. And we were in Mohawk Mountain with Nick Roseman, and we went into the spruce bog, which is the only peat bog in Connecticut. We started there, got some interesting stuff, and then we moved a little bit up into some more rocky, more glacial erratic stuff on the other side where people don't frequent, and that trail goes into the D-town.
I gotta talk about that.
Yeah, no detail.
So that trail it goes into some crazy woods, and in those glacial erratics, we left our gifts, we left coffee, we left a whole bunch of really cool stuff that little people could utilize. I think matches, some really nice stuff, a whole bunch of series of coffee beans, and he hit the EMP thing, the EMP reader. So this is live. We're recording. And it's saying a couple things like, "Hi, visitor," yada, yada. And we finally ask it. So does anybody want to represent, as we leave these gifts? We just want to, what we were saying was, we want to change the narrative with you guys. We want to start a new relationship where we're coming at you with nothing but love and respect, with gifts. We're sorry about the past, nothing to do with it, and let's forge a new sort of relationship. So we left our gifts. We're saying this stuff out loud. Now, Nick has been to the Freetown thing, and he investigated this as a paranormal researcher years ago. And he made the mistake back, like a lot of ghost hunters will do, and sort of try to say aggressive things just to force the evidence, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And he had some very bad experiences late that night in his hotel. And he approached me before we went out and said, "I need to make amends with these guys. How do we do it?" So this is the initial impetus of this investigation that we did. I was like, "Bring your equipment. We're going to go where I think they are here in Connecticut." And I think they're spread throughout New England and the Great Lakes. they're not just in Massachusetts. Okay, so again, animals don't follow triangles. Okay, they just don't. They don't follow state borders. That's nonsense. They follow resources, water, and game trails. So we're trying to get this stuff going. He's got his lovely wife with him, Amy, and they're doing all kinds of stuff. She's a psychic medium, so she's getting impressions and this one rock, and so we did an investigation. We're getting this crazy back and forth, the magnetic the EMF, the electromagnetic frequency detector, and this thing, and we had a voice box going. So this thing is making voice boxes as well. And as we got into the caves that I was talking about, that's where we left our gifts. And it was a long, I would say this went on for 10, 15 minutes as we're asking questions, getting responses. But the big one was, I am chief. And what my feeling from that was, we're okay. We're gonna allow this and see where this goes. They were sort of saying, okay, I'm in charge and this seems okay. That's my impression. Now I need to talk about this because camera person will kill me if I don't.
Okay.
Okay. Our last 3 investigations, we talked about the preserve that we went to. We didn't find much. It was brand new. I did fall on my keister, and everybody sort of laughed at that. So there's your comical moment. But the Prospect Mountain Preserve, and then we were at that place that I like to chill at, White Memorial, off of the Bantam River, off of Elaine White's Road. There's a little side street. You'd have to look for it. Across from the boat launch. And it's set up sort of for kids. They call it the Nature Trail, like all these other millions of places, right? They didn't even try on this one. We're in there just relaxing, just chilling, enjoying, the weather, the finally nice weather. Rain had stopped. And this was just several days ago, okay? So I'm going to go with the White Memorial and then go back to Prospect Mountain. I'll make it quick. We're in White Memorial, just at one of my favorite places. Just looking for small things. I mean, if I see a newt, I'm like, oh, there's a newt. How cool is that, right? And try to catch the guy, bring him up, and put him back in. Well, I noticed tracks. I'm always looking for tracks. And camera person's got a real eye for this. And I'm sort of, my mind's, and I just can't help it. I'm like you guys. I look for deer tracks. But you don't notice the big freaking oval next to it, right? Camera person did. And I say camera person because they want to be left anonymous. I don't know. It's their thing. So, there is this imprint of same size. It was a human type imprint, right? Footprint. And the odd thing was, so this, imagine, is right near a beaver dam. And it's sort of a mud sluice area where they're going to snap and turtles. You guys know what I'm talking about. Right?
Mm-hmm.
It's a portage for animals, beavers, muskrats, snapping turtles, turkeys, whatever. So in the muck of that, going down a good 8-9 inches, was a print same size as my print, human, except that it had toe impressions and a heel impression, and that we didn't have plaster with us. Always, we were just chilling, right? Was not prepared for that. So that was crazy impressive. We got this all on video. I didn't have anything to measure, so I used my phone. So my phone, when I stood it upright into the imprint, it almost went the full length of the phone. It was a good 12 inches long, and it's about any of our size footprints, right? Except you could see the delineation of toes. And going down that deep, I put my foot next to it and tried to step on just several inches next to it, exactly parallel with it. And I put all my weight on one leg. And it didn't even go half the distance in that, right? Not even half. And again, so there's a beaver dam. So there's all these. You guys ever dug up a beaver dam? I have.
Mm-hmm.
At the bottom of these beaver dams are all these upright freaking sticks, roots. They use roots a lot to sort of anchor in the other sticks that they use straight. But by the way, there's all these sharpened sticks all over the place. If a human were to step there, and you wear boots most of the time, except for when you're sleeping or chilling at the beach, our skin is just very sensitive. You step in anything like that, you're going to get a really big laceration. So we capture this footprint. Same size as me, footprint wise, but the weight was probably double. We documented this, and as always, I say inconclusive, but I'm telling you guys that was not a juvenile, but that had to be, an adolescent squatch. I'm just going to say it like that. That's my impression. When I'm on record with CCIS, I'm going to say, a human, a bipedal hominid type footprint. When I say that, I'm telling you that's not a boot. We found a boot print further up the same trail, and I put my boot next to it. I found a footprint, and I went into the same depth, and I was like, okay, so that's human. This other one was right near this beaver portage, and that's a good place to look for life. So that was recently documented. This was all within the last week, and I'm going to draw some similarities. So less than 10 miles away, separated by only 3 days. We were before that at Prospect Mountain Preserve, the place that's on Cat Hole Road in Litchfield. Both of these places are in Litchfield. We're pretty far in there, and just off to the side of the trail, merging with a game trail in another area where you guys yourselves are going to look for deer tracks. I'm looking for deer tracks. I don't know why I don't gear my mind towards squatches. I'm still deer tracks because that's the forage base, right? That's what they're eating.
That's their food.
You find the forage base, you're going to find the apex predators.
Right.
There was another footprint almost identical to that, and we documented that. And I did the same thing. I had my phone next to it. I stepped in the same mud right next to it with leaning all my weight on one leg. And again, same size, about 12 inches, same width as maybe my feet. But my weight, and I'm a big guy, I'm 2 something plus, okay? It only went in half the distance at best. And these are within 5 to 10 miles of each other, separated by several days. Could have been the same thing. And my theory is, and I'm going to say it on your podcast, I'm just going to go out there and say mid juvenile towards later Bigfoots, Squatches are migratory in there. They're walking around. I've heard a theorist say they can do 50 miles in a day, and that's their territory, right? Generally, a 50-mile radius. A circumference, I'm sorry.
Do they not have?
So
they don't really have a home range, or it's just a little bit bigger than some of the more adult.
my theory here is that you're seeing. Maybe we didn't see the whole picture. Footprints are funny, they could be standing on. I think these are again. So White Memorial and Prospect Mountain, no hunting. Ideal place, and White Memorial is where we found that crazy nest. And I think they're rearing their juveniles in this area, in the no hunting areas, until they get big enough to get on the move. And maybe they're on the move now. They're big enough to get moving and looking for game.
They're they're not pack animals, right? So when they get to a certain age, do they get bumped out and then they have to go find their own territory away from, and then that's how they spread? Or do they stay in the family territory their whole life?
So they've been described as in troops, right? Like family units. A lot of guerrillas will display this. Several families will work together in a clan. But yes, when the males get to be towards apex, a lot of animals, they will force them out because they're going to get aggressive with the younger ones. They're gonna be sexually active and want to reproduce, and that's not good, right? That leads to inbreeding, even in animals. And a matter of resources, and yes, to spread out the population so that they can start, new turf. And they're going to do what all animals do when they get kicked out. They're going to steal, the apex males are going to try to steal some females and start a troop And then that whole thing spirals and just continues.
Mm.
It's the way of animals, as you guys know.
Mm.
So I would say right now, in our area, in Northwest Connecticut right now, Squatches are on the move. They are definitely here right now. And you might see one about 6 foot tall. And they might be with some mamas, you know. And if you're unfortunate enough to get into the big bad daddies, they might not be in a good mood with their kids.
Mm. I have another question, kind of separate, but I got to ask. So, is there any reports of clashes between different cryptids? Because Dogman's aggressive. The Puckwedgies can be a little mean. Like, is there ever any reports of them clashing amongst each other, or do they just avoid each other altogether?
Oh, there are reports of clashes, especially the big fellas between Dogman and Squatch. You're looking at, as you guys yourselves, I ask you guys whenever we talk about deer populations. So I'll do it right now. Are the deer populations up or down in Connecticut?
I think they're declining.
They're declining.
And turkeys too. You think they're eating turkeys too?
I see less turkeys than ever. It's crazy.
Yeah, who's behind that? Is it the Puckwedgie?
Dogman.
You know, they are, but I don't. They're small. They're gonna probably go after Don't forget these. We talked about their arrowheads. They're tiny.
Oh yeah.
I mean, for them, a squirrel or a chipmunk or a trout might be just plenty. You know. But to get back to your question, yes, especially in Dogman Encounters Radio, my boy Vic Cundiff, he's awesome, and I highly suggest checking him out. He's done much more research on
What's
this
his name?
than I
Vic
have.
what?
Vic Cundiff on Dogman Encounters Radio.
We're gonna get him.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you guys got to get him on. And
What's
Dark
what?
Waters, Vic Cundiff, Dogman Encounters Radio. That's a good one.
That is a good one.
Start at the beginning. It's fascinating. He later added Bigfoot, but he did the whole Dogman thing. He's kind of the authority. Him and Dark Waters are the guys. Dark Waters with his migratory map. I could look at that. I could watch that episode, and I do. I'll just keep my mind fresh on what he's got to say. But again, we get our own reports, and that's interesting. You know, a lot of these people, they find us because they don't know where to go. And for whatever reason, if they're in Connecticut, and that's what we get, Connecticut reports, they're going to find us before they find the BFRO or these other groups. And shout out to the Cryptid Investigations of Appalachia. Those guys are awesome.
I definitely want to say that I truly honestly respect the fact that, you know, you really stay in your lane as far as like you want to only find, you know, historical data for cryptids. Like that's your thing, and I respect it. And I know you said that you get people give you crap about it, but I think it's a good thing. I like the fact that you stay where you feel comfortable.
Well, because of my fascination with biology, right? I mean, that's where I don't all of this weird stuff, even the portals and stuff. To me, there could very well be a very good, solid biological explanation for this. You know, you talk about disappearing, and I'm sorry, but even a bear, right? Even a deer, you see that freaking deer, you guys get you know, and then it's gone. Just because it blends in. It didn't transport itself to California or something. You know, it's right there. It's right there. You just can't see the freaking thing. And I say it again. I'm going to say it repeatedly because this I gets the most flack. I'm not saying that isn't part of it.
For almost 50 years, Midway USA has been America's go-to source for just about everything for shooting, hunting, and the outdoors. Go to MidwayUSA.com to see our latest deals and promotions and take advantage of our super fast same-day shipping. If you need a cooler, a new fishing rod, another rifle, ammo, or a reloading press, you can find it all at MidwayUSA.com. Thanks for your business. Midway USA has everything you need for a successful day at the range. Load up your range bag with your targets, shooting rest bags, eye and ear protection, as well as magazine pouches, mag loaders, and basic gun cleaning supplies. Protect your favorite firearms with durable, hard, or soft gun cases, and bring along your tactical or shooting vest to carry additional gear and gadgets. Midway USA has all you need for the range, plus self-defense and safe storage products to ensure your guns and gear are well organized and secure for when you get back home. For just about everything for shooting, shop midwayusa.com.
Because it is. People report that, even
Right.
to us. I get the craziest reports. But I keep it, as you talk about my lane is Connecticut and trying to bring it into the realm of biology.
Right.
Understanding from the beginning that cryptids are just an undocumented animal. And that makes it sort of a fringe science. And that's unfortunate.
Yeah, I don't know why. If it's a biological creature, right? We're not talking aliens and UFOs and, ghosts and all that stuff. Like, we're talking biological DNA, blood, flesh, hair.
It leaves footprints. You can hear it. It makes structures. You can see it. It's eating. Okay. And there are plenty of people. And one of the reasons when we started CCIS, didn't get into that, because there are hundreds and thousands of people and groups that research the paranormal. You got MUFON with the UFOs. I mean, I'm not going to be able to compete with that. It's not even a competition. It's an overlap of knowledge. But I thought this is where I could bring something unique to the table, because Connecticut had very, very, very limited stuff on its own cryptids. And that, we certainly changed that. We changed that forever. Because there's a lot going on here, and that is our lane. So I'm not ruling out portals, UFOs, or any of that stuff. We just don't need it.
Yeah.
For us.
In CCIS,
there's plenty of
not
stuff
you.
out there that we find.
Right.
Golf balls.
Yeah, golf balls. And this is the thing. So going back on golf balls real quick, as I think a big thing with golf balls potentially can come from some other places, but you have to remember that coyotes in themselves love to scavenge for certain things. So what's to say that Dogman isn't moving these things around with them?
Playing. As entertainment.
Yeah.
Orcas are putting salmon on their heads, dead salmons for like weeks. Dolphins will mess with puffer fish, get a little high from them actually because they give off a slight toxin. So they're partying with puffer fish.
There's nothing wrong with partying.
Crows will, if you feed crows, they'll gift you. You can gift crows.
Yeah.
I don't gift them because my dog chases them away. But they do come here. They will yell at me, leave me some bread. I always leave them something. And you can gift crows. And some of the things they give are shiny rocks, canned bottle caps, any pieces of glass, or just weird looking things. I saw a woman got a nice silver crucifix, One crow left the guy money, dollar bills and stuff.
Yeah, you've seen that?
The golf balls could just be something they see us doing. They see them on the golf course and they're like, what is this? It's shiny white or even sometimes fluorescent. Pick it up. I mean, they're just like, what the hell is this thing? Maybe throw it at each other. Could be a projectile for them. But we find toys, and I'm sure you guys find toys in the woods, right? Piles of toys.
That actually makes sense, too, because I play golf, and I lose golf balls quite often. And this whole time, maybe Dogman was running out there taking my ball.
I know. With juvenile Sasquatches throwing them at each other like kids will do.
Where's my Titleist number 2?
Yeah.
I got a Nike number 2 for you. For 30 grand, we could let it go, but we have to talk. I know what I got. It's Squatch related. It's evidence.
Maybe that's what we should try to leave for gifts for Dogman. We couldn't figure out what to leave him. We'll leave him golf balls.
Give him golf balls.
I like the dog biscuits. Maybe some of the big leather chew toys.
Maybe not like the biscuity ones, like I don't know,
rawhides.
Like you gotta maybe some like bacon bits or whatever it is, bacon's, whatever. I think they want some meat. They don't want that.
Yeah.
They don't want that. Don't make enemies. Are you guys looking for this guy?
No, not now. I want to find a puck wedgie is what I'd really like to.
You got to get into the glacial erratics where piles and piles of them are, and they make like these artificial caves and stuff. You find a good opening. Get your phone out, see if you can get some EVP.
Yeah.
Now they
Talk to Chief.
exhibit some crazy supernatural stuff, the pucks. They really do it. And I just have to say that's part of the reports of them that always have that with them.
See, my goal would be like, you're talking about like Dogman and the coyotes working together. Like I could see me and like a couple of like puck wedgies like tearing some woods up together,
Hunting down the big buck, right?
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
I don't know that they're hunting bucks. That's overkill for them.
We could teach them some stuff. I mean,
turkeys maybe.
Ooh.
Maybe leave. You know what? If I wanted to leave a puck wedgie a cool gift, I would get the smallest arrow I could find. The tiniest, teeniest little
tooth
arrow.
pick or bigger or smaller.
Man, as small as you can get them.
All right.
Squirrel size,
I'm gonna have to hit a bow daddy for some custom arrows.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
I was gonna say
they seem to be white quartz, and you leave those. But remember, talk when you leave these. Don't just leave and say, "Oh, I want to see what happens." If you're there and you're leaving gifts, you want to communicate. Talk to them. This is my intention. Get some kind of recording thing, or just return and see if the freaking things are gone. No other animal is going to take pennies, arrows, just something intelligent like us. If it's a tool, only something like that would take them.
I'm going to do that.
And if they're missing, then what the heck? How do you explain that? And I guarantee you they will be missing if you give it a couple days.
Colin, can you do me one favor, man? Can you just leave us with a Squatch call before we end this great podcast, just so everybody knows some clicks and some calls.
So okay, well I have nothing to whack a tree with, right?
Yep.
But that's one thing we do. We get a nice piece of wood. We find a nice solid tree and we whack it.
There's one right there.
Yeah.
Well, I do this. I do that. One thing I don't do that you'll hear in the History Channel and stuff, and don't do it, is they talk about clapping rocks together. If you do that like I did, knucklehead, and I'm like, all right, I'm going to do this. I clapped those two rocks together and almost broke my damn fingers. The shock is so bad. And I'm a painter, so I need, I'm holding brushes and rollers and trying to make fine lines. My hands hurt for at least a week after that. Solid week.
It's like a baseball bat.
Now, they tell you that. Yeah, clap rocks together. You're going to hear this from like all the guys, like Jeff Meldrum and stuff. He's going to say, well, one of the great of communicating. Well, no, don't do that. I can tell you from direct experience with our rocks. Maybe in California, their rocks are different.
A little softer.
Ours they're gonna send a shockwave through your hands. I take the large rock and throw it at another rock. Now,
smart.
And don't want to call tap.
And
before
don't
I go,
right?
I want to ask you guys a question. It's been burning in my mind.
Mm-hmm.
You guys had mentioned when you go into the forest, the flashes, and I feel like I didn't ask you guys enough about that, because later on I was like, that's fascinating. I want to know, does that happen a lot? Does it happen rarely? What are the conditions, and how impressive is this? And what's your theory on that? And then I'll do my howl.
That was you, Trev, I think, right? I got the hide behinds.
No. I want to hear about that, and I want to hear about the flashes in the forest. So I asked the flashes in the forest. You go first, and then I want to hear about the hide behinds.
The flashes in the forest. So I don't think that they're a lot, but they definitely do happen from time to time. Definitely seeing some type of flashing. It's not on the regular basis, but you definitely do see it from time to time for sure. And not very bright neither, but it does happen.
What's not that? Headlights.
No, very faint.
Is it like whitish,
whitish? Yeah, not yellow. Very white. Very quick, subtle, fast.
And does it repeat?
Yeah, but I don't know of any pattern of it.
And is there maybe a particular season, or it just happens randomly? And that's all I'll ask.
It's usually what Chubb's about to climb into somebody else's.
What is your theory about it? What is your theory about it?
Well, you have to remember is most of the time we're in the woods in October, November. So I don't know if it's a lot. We don't spend a lot of time, and a lot of our time in the woods is during the day, in the summer months. So that's the only time that we're really out there. So I don't know, if it's in the other months, but I know of it in those months, and I've had it happen a couple of times.
Fascinating. And it's always before dark, before the sun comes up.
Before the sun comes up. Yep.
Wow. Now, we talked about the hide behinds, and that was the first time you had heard about them from
I didn't know they were real.
You had experienced them. So tell me about your experience, because that fascinates me as well.
All right. I still have experienced this. It's always on a main trail.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like I never experience it from my tree to the main trail, like walking through the leaves. It's always on the main trail, walking out. It's always walking out in the dark, never walking in the dark. Walking down the trail, heading to the truck. There's definitely something walking behind me, like not chasing me, just step for step. Like I can hear my feet and I can hear other feet behind me. So I'll just turn around with the flashlight.
Yeah.
There's nothing there.
Guiding you out.
You're an idiot. Like, of course there's nothing there. Like, you're crazy. So like, all right, I just look, there's nothing there. Start walking again. I can hear it walking again. I'm like, look again. There's nothing there. And it's not like I'm scared. Like I'm not scared, but I can definitely hear it behind me. If I stop, it stops. If I look, there's nothing there. And then after that, I usually just stop looking because I know there's nothing there. But
right.
Very often does that happen. And it's always coming out of the woods, never going in. I don't know why that is. Because when I go into the woods, there's more time between the time I go in till the sun comes up, like maybe 2 hours before daylight. When I'm coming out, it's closer to sunset, right? Like within a half an hour, an hour. It's only been dark a half an hour to an hour. But when I'm going in, it's like 2 hours before the sun comes up. And it's only when I'm coming out.
So does it happen more often when you're taking game out with you, a field dressed deer or something like that? Or does it just usually just happen anyway?
It usually happens, but just me coming out.
Just you coming out. Yeah, no dragging of anything.
Turkey season, I see it too. It's not just in November too. Like I'll get it. So like say May, end of April, early May. I'll go roost. Like I'll go out in the evening to listen for turkeys on the roost, and I'll be out in the middle of the woods till dark. And then as soon as it gets dark, I head back to the truck, and I get it all the time doing that.
It's funny is. We were talking with a good friend of ours, Chris, the other day, and he's seen a lot of hide behinds also. We were talking about it when we were out fishing, and he was talking about how the hide behinds, and I deal with it all the time.
Who's this?
Have you guys turned your cameras backwards like I suggested yet?
No, we haven't had a deer season since.
Oh, you're not like me. See, I go out all season. Yeah. I can squatch all year round. In fact, it's funny because most of our evidence comes around this time of year, and you guys aren't even in the woods.
I know,
unless you're outdoors, when you're canoeing or fishing.
Right. Like this weekend.
I don't want to say you're not out there because obviously you are. So, turn those cameras backwards. I want to see some evidence. From you guys, and our new field investigators.
Hide behind is biological. Like, is that are they invisible?
They are. They've been reported way back, and so they're hide behinds. There's vague descriptions of them. Like the glimmer people, those things that are like transparent, like heat waves in the tree canopy. Look out for those.
Sometimes when you put your hand up because of your background, you look like a glimmer person.
I am. I'm like. God, I'm a glimmer person. So that's what they're doing up there. You can
spirit fingers.
he hit a portal.
I had a great time with you guys.
He just hit a portal.
It's a portal. I'm gonna hide behind it. So listen, they're squatching. It's funny. The blueberries are just about to be ripe. Berries are just at their peak, and we're finding these squatch prints. Twice we found them, and it almost looked like the same damn print.
Which
To me, it almost looked identical.
which is
Prime squatching.
well, I guess we're gonna have to do some squatching this weekend.
Colin, if you're around this weekend, we'll be up your way tomorrow night and Friday morning.
Where are you going to be? What campground?
We'll talk off air.
Yeah.
Oh, send me your secret spot.
Yeah.
And there's a very good chance that Friday I can join you guys in the afternoon.
All right. I'll be around for sure.
Then we could do some squatching.
We'll talk after we get off. Well, after we end this, and we're.
And don't worry, your secret's not safe with me. Everybody in CCIS is going to find out about your exact spot. So I just want you to know that.
That's fine.
That's all right. We don't want the fishermen to know where we're fishing. The CCIS can know where we're ceasing, but that's
I know some good
shit.
I know some good spots in the river. I live up this way.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll talk.
We know.
All right.
So
you want your howl, and we're going to call it a thank you. Again, I want to thank you guys for having us on, and we promote the heck out of you guys. And just want to know, to your audience now, you got 2 more CCIS field investigators. So find us some evidence, measure those footprints, look for structures. Now your squatching license is good all year, and it's a lifetime. And unlike Richard, it's free. Nice. So you got something to do. Another game to hunt, and that goes to all cryptids all year.
I can't wait to run into somebody in a trailhead and be like, listen, I'm certified cryptid investigator, so get out of the way. Get off your property, get out of my way. I'm squatching the shit out of this right now.
Oh, ask them if they've seen anything.
I will.
You're like, what? And then you go on, you say structures, call taps. Did you hear anything howl? Did you see something big? And you might get stories. You might just be like, well, this is one of the hot spots. If you're on trail 2 in Connecticut.
Have you ever filmed that, Colin, or do you do that off?
Oh no, he films it.
Oh, we do it anytime. I come across an unfortunate person. That's always a chance to record them.
Oh yeah,
I was in Haddam Neck State Park, and this unfortunate. We were talking about the Connecticut River, like lake monster, right? But Connecticut River, like Nessie, because they're going to migrate with the shad. So this woman just came in front of us, and I was like, "Do you believe?" And she goes, "I believe." And she didn't even know what the heck she was believing in. She saw we were filming and had no problem with it. People are much more approachable than you would think they are, especially, here in Connecticut, we're not the warmest, we're not just, hey, how you doing? Sort of, hey, but if you stop and say, have you heard anything or seen anything? Ask them some questions and, get them biting on that hook and then hit them with the squatch, yank them in on the squatch. Tight line them in.
All I can think about, Trev, is that pack of women we ran into in Rhode Island turkey hunting.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, you guys turkey hunting? Nah,
squatching. You better watch out.
Right. Is your license up to date? Where was it? Like in Patchogue on the Rhode Island side?
Yeah. So it'd be Arcadia, I guess. I don't know if that was it was Arcadia. Close to the Rhode Island, Connecticut line.
Yeah, we had some.
Oh, you gotta try it.
We had some anti-hunters come in on us, and they had said to us, they said, "Well, we're not going to wish you good luck." And if we said, "No, there's no good luck needed. We're going to squatch the crap out of this place. Don't worry."
No weapons. We're not killing anything. And if you tackle one, you get the $5 reward. It has to be tackled and subdued without, injury.
Hog tie, maybe like a small hog tie.
Tie them up with some 5X tibbet.
Yeah,
some 5X. I don't even know what that is, but 5X tibbet, that'll work. Bring them in.
I don't think
like reinforced rebar cage. You guys, you see these Appalachian and investigators of mysterious, the AIM guys. Have you ever watched them? The guys building these huge cages. Something like that would be ideal.
Oh yeah.
If you build us something like that, I'll forward the $5. Generosity.
All right. Hey, cool. Colin, before you give us the Squatch Howl, can you just tell all of the listeners where they can find you? They can follow around with CCIS and check you out and maybe get their squatching license.
So we're on ConnecticutCryptids.com. And if you look up Connecticut Cryptid Investigative Society or the initial CCIS on any of that stuff, There is some corporation that kind of now is just inundated with Squatch reports, and but you'll find us on YouTube's Connecticut Cryptid Investigative Society, CCIS/Connecticut. We're really all over the place. You just type in Connecticut Cryptid, and you're gonna find us or that guy with the silly children's book, whatever.
Do you have any merch, Colin? Do you have any T-shirts? CCIS T-shirts?
We have T-shirts and mugs. We got all of that stuff. We do have a store now. I don't have my CCIS T-shirt on, but yeah, we got cool stuff with
Sweet.
our logo on it. Yeah,
I'll feel free. I'm gonna get that.
Yeah, get some T-shirts when you're out there.
Yeah,
making people feel uncomfortable.
Yeah, we and ours is. Can we get ours with that says like license?
A custom one?
Yeah, like a license or license numbers on them.
Oh yeah, we can do that. I'll customize one for you guys. Definitely. Yeah, we'll come up with like a big, like 7-digit number, and then then we'll have one with an A and one with a 1, so that you're both number 1.
Yeah.
I don't want a number 2 here. You guys are A1 team.
A1 team. We appreciate you, Colin. We truly, honestly do. I know it won't be the last time that we have you on, but we do thank you and taking the time to join us and talk cryptids. We absolutely love having you on. It's always a pleasure.
It is always a pleasure on this end as well, and I really want to hook up with you guys if you're there. I kind of know you're going to be camping in the area. I'll leave it at that, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All right. Because there's some really cool places there. And that whole area there, Barkhamsted, I can squatch that just without a damn reason. There is a little spot. There is a little river that I know about. Nobody goes to, and it feeds into the Farmington River.
Little trib.
A little trib, yeah. You're gonna get some brook trout in there for sure, wild ones. It's awesome. I know these little places, so if you guys if we hook up, and maybe the main river's not as active, we can hit that spot, and that's a squatchy little spot. And I've never been there, but I know the river's awesome. It's got the trout signs on it.
Nice. Let's do it.
Cool.
Let's do it.
Colin, can you give us a holler, and then we will let everybody go for the evening?
Yeah, and so it's funny you asked the howl, because now at our next convention, we always get a lot of kids. And so my idea was that I'm going to have a little Squatch howling contest to get the kids involved. And they're going to love this, right? And the audience is going to love it. We'll have our Squatch-o-meter. And of course, there will be no losers, but we'll pick the number 1 howl and see what the kids can do. But I'll do a howl. I want to get a little bit away. You want my deep woods howl? I got several. I got the low one, and I got the...
We need the deep woods. We need the mature, big, deep woods howl.
You need the apex guy.
Yeah, that's it.
When I went out with Richard, and I did the howl, I did whoop, and he said, "There it is." And still to this day, the camera person will do that. All right, I'm gonna do the one that I want to travel. Like I'm up on top of Mohawk Mountain, and I want it to just go down. And with that, gentlemen, again, I thank you so much. I really appreciate this. You guys, nothing but love for you guys.
Same, buddy. Same.
Same, Colin.
You ready?
Colin, we thank you and everybody else for taking the ride right here on the Outdoor Drive.